So often we can think about working smarter, not harder, as in our marketing and things like that. But the biggest area that I see people could benefit from working smarter, not harder, is actually internal, in their office and the stuff that they put out into the world. Because so often, and you might nod your head at this, people spend so much time working in their businesses that they don't have enough time to work on their businesses, on the marketing, on the systems, on the AI, on everything else that we're going to go through and cover today, because they are spending so much time working in their business. So one of the very first things that I certainly did in my business, and that I hope that I can encourage you to do in your business, is to actually look inwards first into how you can work smarter, not harder in your actual office. As a female online business owner with dreams of more income, more impact, and more freedom, you know there's more potential in your business waiting to be unlocked. But figuring out how to shape and transform your biz and get seen, loved, selling, and scaling can feel like, well, a mystery. So how do you cut through the noise, create offers that deeply resonate, sell and scale without you always being on, all while creating a life you love? That is exactly what this show is about. Welcome to Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale. I'm Corinda, your small biz marketing sidekick, digital office strategist, and online biz bestie. With tens of thousands of digital offers sold, tens of thousands of people helped, and millions of dollars in revenue generated in my own business as a small business owner. And through this podcast, I am here to share it all. You'll gain clear, actionable insights, strategies, and shortcuts to master your online marketing, build scalable online offers, and create a business model that works for you as much as it works for your people, so you can grow your income, amplify your impact, and free up more of your time. Let's get started. Hello, and a massive welcome to you. Welcome to this episode of the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale show, where I am so excited to be diving into something that I truly hope helps you, because I know as a human on social media in the online business world, I am forever coming across the statement, work smarter, not harder in your business. And I absolutely agree with that statement. But here's the thing. A few years ago in business, I kind of obviously understood what that concept was about working smarter, not harder. But no one was telling me exactly what that meant, exactly how they were working smarter, not harder in their businesses, exactly how I could maybe work smarter, not harder. So I had the concept, but actually putting that into practice took some time for me to figure out how I was going to implement that. And as I coach people and I work with people in the online business world, I know this comes up a lot as well for them. When they say, I want to work smarter, not harder, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure where to start. I'm not sure what that could mean. So in today's episode, I am going to take you through some of the ways that I work smarter, not harder in my business in order to be able to create more impact with less energy in order to create more income without always being on, in order to create freedom and flexibility and still being able to truly serve and sell in a really powerful way, and to be able to simplify business while actually increasing success. All of that is truly possible when we start to work smarter, not harder. So let's dive in, and I am going to run through a number of different areas that I focus on this in and give you some tangible takeaways in each of these areas. So the very first thing that I'm going to focus on is really one of the big ones, and that is setting our businesses up to work smarter, not harder from our offers outward. So often we can think about working smarter, not harder, as in our marketing and things like that. And we're going to cover that because that is absolutely one of the parts. But the biggest area that I see people could benefit from working smarter, not harder, is actually internal, in their offers and the stuff that they put out into the world. Because so often, and you might nod your head at this, people spend so much time working in their businesses that they don't have enough time to work on their businesses, on the marketing, on the systems, on the AI, on everything else that we're going to go through and cover today because they are spending so much time working in their business. So one of the very first things that I certainly did in my business and that I hope that I can encourage you to do in your business is to actually look inwards first into how you can work smarter, not harder in your actual offers. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, I am going to talk about digital offers in this, but as many of you may know, I actually started as a full-time and then some service provider. So I was just run off my feet. I had gone from a 9 to 5 to like a 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. I had built myself this golden cage in my business. The work that I love in marketing, in communication, started feeling like an absolute chore. I started resenting it. I was absolutely tied to my computer. I wasn't having enough time to do a really great job at my own marketing. I have that distinct memory, this was not that long ago, of just feeling like this ain't it. Like, how can I change this? This is insane. How does everybody else seem to be like having this laptop lifestyle and doing these things and loving their business? And I'm here like resenting my business. I loved my clients, but like the work felt like a chore and I was just thinking something has to change. And so I changed it. I knew that I wanted to start getting into digital offers as one part of my business. And I'm going to talk you through that. But the first thing that I needed to do in order to actually be able to move into that space was to gain more time back in my business. And that was starting to look at ways that I could work smarter, not harder. So this is potentially going to look different to you, but I want you to put on your like to-do list, your number one thing. Where can you gain time back in your business? What are some things right now, if you are a service-based business owner or an online business owner, that you think this takes me time and there could be a different way that I could do this? And I'm going to walk you through exactly some of the ways that I did this. And spoiler alert, this was in 2020. AI did not exist. So what I would now be doing and what I do constantly in my business is build AI ChatGPT custom bots. So I call them bot besties, and you can see a link in the show notes if you want to go and look at bot besties and learn about them and how I build them. But what I actually do is I take any replicatable tasks that I do and I now train AI in that. But I was not able to do that back in the day. What I was doing was I was doing output for clients doing their content marketing. So what I actually did was I went and hired a virtual assistant. Now, before you write any of this off thinking like, Corinda, I know virtual assistants are amazing, but I can't have one in my business because of the type of work I do. Like a VA couldn't do the work for me. And I want to say I totally get that. And VAs aren't about doing the work for you. They can be about taking work off your hand you don't need to be doing so you can be more in your area of genius. And then also potentially, if you want to be, the next thing we're going to talk about in offers is starting to create more scalable offers. So if you are a one-to-one service provider and you are wanting to step away from always being on, one of the things that we can do to work smarter, not harder, is online offers. And I'm going to talk about that, but you need the time in order to be able to create those. And so in my business, what I did is I started writing down daily, weekly, and monthly things that I was doing in my business. So obviously daily would be like, I would check my emails. I would check my Monday. I would write back to clients. I would respond to my own DMs. I would try and get something up on social media. Then I would start to do the work. I would be going through and I would be writing the work out. And then I would be, or maybe I'd be researching for it first and I'd be writing the work out because this was like communications and marketing. Then I would be, once that project was completed, spell checking it. I would take it over to Canva and I would go through and I would this was a brand strategy, for example. So I would put the brand strategy into this like stock standard brand strategy document I have, and I would change it all to that person's brand colors and put their own images in it and things like that. And what I started recognizing from writing this down was there was daily, weekly, and monthly things a VA could take on for me. They didn't necessarily need to have a specialized skill set in, let's say, like brand strategy or marketing the way I would do it. But I could literally say to them, hey, I made this Canva template. I do it like this for clients. Can you do it? And even if they got it like to 80% or 90% of my vision, that was still like an hour back a week or an hour back each client project. It could be that I could say to them, can you help me research? What I normally do to research is I go through and I do this and that, look for competitors, find Instagram accounts. Can you put this in an Excel document for me? And this might save 45 minutes, an hour. Again, I've got that time back. So what I really leaned into was virtual assistant support. And that was a game changer. That was really inexpensive, amazing for me to be able to outsource those tasks and to have more time in my business. And I believe that I raised my prices just slightly to cover that. And that meant I wasn't out of pocket while getting my time back as well to put into my second part of offers, working smarter, not harder, which was most definitely moving to a more scalable business offer. And the first scalable business offer that I put into my business and that I truly recommend that other people look at putting into their businesses was my low ticket digital offer. And the reason for that is because this is purely passive income in terms of the servitude and the selling that goes into this. So I'm not manually posting about it daily to generate traffic. I am not actually serving the person on the other side once they've purchased this product. Passive income, when I say it, that's what I mean. I don't mean that it's completely passive in the back end of your business. Like, you need to check on these automated selling models. You are going to go through and there's going to be some kind of customer support, which if you've got a VA, they could help you with. So it isn't completely passive, but it is a lot more passive when someone buys a 200 pack of templates or a masterclass off me. That is a lot more passive than me making somebody actively those 200 templates or sitting with them an hour on a call to teach them that thing that I would have taught them live when they can purchase that through a pre-recorded masterclass. So when it comes to working smarter, not harder, when we are starting to look into this digital transformation and thinking like, how can I work smarter, not harder, even transforming my business to digital, it really for me is low ticket offers that are the answer to this. I do believe that they are the way to work smarter, not harder in a digital business transformation or a scalable business transformation where you want to move into this area of more one-to-many or passive or semi-passive offers. And here is the reason for that in a nutshell. So low ticket offers, because they are smaller, more bite-sized, these can be some of the quickest offers to actually make in your business to get out there. So you can make this offer quicker than most other offers. Put that out there. It is one of the easiest things to run meta ads to. I teach meta ads made easy training because it is actually like a very non-complicated technical setup to run these ads. Obviously, we need to get the actual ads right and things like that, but it is actually the least complicated. What this then does is that it creates passive income for you. So yes, there's that work behind the scenes setting this up, but literally as you're sleeping, the sales are coming in, the offer is going out, or as you're working, as you're with the kids, whatever you are doing, and there's no follow-up for that. And you, after, you've covered your ad spend, are then hopefully with the model digital product to profit that I teach, making profit off that. I have people making 2, 4, 5, 6 times profit on average from these low ticket offers compared to what they spend on ads. So somebody might spend, $1,000 a week on ads and they might make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 back. They might spend $100 a week on ads and make $300 back. But you can certainly see how there is this profit that can be made. Now that profit, because we're looking at working smarter, not harder, can then go into the business for you to be able to drop a client, reduce some work, hire some more help, whatever you need to do, you can reinvest that back into the business to then get yourself more time back. And then this cycle continues. And this is exactly what I did. I hired my VA, and now you may want VAs, you may use AI, any of those types of things. But I looked in my business and said, where the heck can I get more time back? Daily, weekly, monthly tracking, and then figuring out what could be sent off or delegated to somebody else. Then I went through and did my low ticket offer. This started generating that profit. And then I was able to go through and start reducing my client load, dropping that back. As I started doing that, I was able to scale my low ticket offer more. And because these low ticket offers, one of the reasons I say that they are the smarter, not harder ways to transform your business, I was then bringing in passively perfect people to my world. I was starting to have more time to nurture my email list, to be on social media. I was then really nurturing these people in a fantastic way. They were asking me for more after experiencing me through this low ticket offer. And I created my first course, launched that, made money off that, ran that, was able to drop another client. And you can see how this goes. So this was really, for me, the biggest way to work smarter, not harder in my digital transformation was to start with a low ticket offer because of the fact it is easy to create, because of the fact that it is, passive income in terms of not needing that servitude, because it brings in the perfect people to your world. That way, when you are ready to step into that next or bigger program that you want to do, that is one-to-many, that is scalable, that doesn't rely on you always being on, those types of things, you have the people there to market this to as well. And so this is really what, in my opinion, working smarter, not harder is in this digital transformation realm. Then I want you to start considering whether you are here yet or whether you are going to be here in the future, but working smarter, not harder across your digital products, whatever they might be, low ticket courses, memberships, masterminds, group programs, anything like that. I want you to go back to where I spoke about being a service-based business owner. I'm really looking across what I'm doing daily, weekly, monthly. I want you to start doing the same thing in your other digital products. And I teach this deeply in the school with just example after example, but I'm going to use one of the things here. Let's say every time you launch your membership, you get questions from people about things, or you see a kind of pattern in cancellations around things. Instead of just actioning those things, instead of putting band-aids on them, instead of replying to the customer service, instead of going through and doing like crisis control or going through and needing to increase your marketing next launch because you lost too many members this launch, go and fix those things. So for example, if I found that when I was onboarding members to the Content Mastery Club, if I was getting a lot of communication behind the scenes, like I can't find this, or I need this, or I want this, I would be responding to that, obviously, with like love and compassion. And this is on me, not them, especially if there's a pattern of this. But then saying to myself, how can I make this smarter, not harder? What do I need to do here? Do I need an extra onboarding email? Do I need to go through and change my welcome video? Do I need to do a 1 hour live Q&A call at the beginning of my membership launches instead of going through and spending 3 or 4 hours responding to emails individually? These are all different options. And I'll give you a real life example of what happened to me constantly every time I launch my membership, because I have a free Facebook group that it doesn't have a lot of activity, but it does exist. And, a lot of people do know about it. And then I have my membership Facebook group, which is a private Facebook group. And I used to send out an onboarding email, which said in it, please come and join our Facebook group. Please go and watch the welcome video. Please do this. Please do that. And I would constantly have like people saying, oh, I knew that we had a live audit today, but I'm not seeing it in the group. Or, I'm just really unhappy with the engagement in the group. I thought this was going to be more of a community, all of these types of things. And I was like, no, you're in the wrong group. You can see this pattern. And I was like, hang on a second. I need to work smarter, not harder here. So I actually went back and I corrected my onboarding email in red to say, P.S. You might be in our public group already, but there's a second private Facebook group. So make sure you click above. And since then, I think I've had like one person say that to me. And this is one tiny example of the ways that we can make our businesses smarter, not harder. If you were to do this for 50 things in your business, you can see how dramatic it could be for you to get time back, customer service up. There are so many of these examples that I could give you, but I really focus on making things light lift in my world. As soon as I see like a few repeatable incidences where something has happened, like somebody asked me a question about something in a training, or somebody asked me the same navigation questions, or somebody asked me the same sales page questions, like they couldn't see something on my sales page, I instantly, using my like daily, weekly, monthly, what have I been doing? Where has my time been going back and fixing those things. And by fixing it, I mean like improving it or optimizing and working smarter, not harder in that way. So I really want you to start thinking to yourself, what is going on in my world that is actually like a repeated pattern of things? And how am I fixing that to stem the flow instead of trying to actually just constantly respond to these things in my world? So this is just a couple of the ways that I actually work smarter, not harder internally. So I spend less time working in my business, getting the most amazing outcomes, maybe even better outcomes, because I've focused on this way. So I can have more time to work external on my business as well and scale that. One of the biggest things I always hear is I don't have time for marketing, and I get it. Maybe don't look at making the marketing faster. Maybe actually look at where you can find time in your business to have more time available should you want that. But of course, we also want to work at making our marketing faster as well, which is the perfect segue into my next pillar of working smarter, not harder. And this one might be a little bit controversial, but anyone in my world knows this, and that is to run paid advertising. All right, so I hope you're loving today's episode, but I wanted to jump in real quick here because if you are here, you are wanting to get seen, love, selling, and scaling. And a critical part of that is creating sales pages that actually make people want to whip out their wallets when they read your words. Sales pages that have a conversation with your ideal audience, show them the true value of your offer, and then convert them into your world with so much ease. Having had my sales pages responsible for over 50,000 sales and counting, thousands of my students' sales, totaling millions of dollars in profits, it is safe to say I am no stranger to knowing what makes sales pages work, which is exactly why I've put together a free sales page success outline for you. With this guide, you'll have my proven section-by-section structure that takes all the guesswork out of structuring your conversation and your sales page so that your sales page can actually, well, sell. If you're ready to build high-converting pages with ease, then head to hello.thisisco.com.au/outline or check out the link in the show notes. Let's get you seen, love, selling, and scaling through sales pages. Now, back to today's episode. Now, I say this in a nuanced way. User discretion is advised here because I do not recommend that people run paid advertising unless they have a validated offer, product, funnel, whatever it is, customer journey, whatever word you want to use for it. I don't recommend using paid ads until you have that. Now, of course, if you are like an entrepreneur that likes to take more risk, maybe you have a higher budget and you think, Corinda, I don't have time to validate things organically, or I just don't have an audience to do that. I don't want to use other people's audiences like Facebook groups or anything like that to validate. You can run ads in that instance if you know that you are sometimes paying for insights instead of outcomes. But if you can get insights organically to go through and like optimize your funnel or your customer journey so every touch point is getting you the best outcomes, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well, then you can and likely should be running some kind of ad strategy in your world to automate the marketing. And now let me explain this deeper because I love organic content marketing. Everyone knows that. I don't think that's any secret. Like This Is Co is all about organic and paid. I'm not one camp or the other. But here's the thing. Most people are doing organic. I don't think I need to get on this show and say, hey, I think you should do organic content marketing. It's really great, right? I think most of us are doing this. But what a lot of people aren't doing is considering ad strategies. And instead, I see them stalling their own businesses and making life harder because let's call a spade a spade. The algorithm is doing some weird antics. Number one, we know that it's changing. But number two, we are in an engagement and visibility recession. We have been for over a year now. All of the data backs it up. I was literally going through and repurposing some content the other day. And about a year and a bit ago, I put a post up to say we are in an engagement recession. And the data then was already so much less than what it had been 6 or 12 months before. And I've rechecked the data again through tools that I have access to. And engagement statistics and reach statistics have gone down even further. Now, that is not to say that organic content cannot create the most incredible outcomes, because it can. Every single day, I help people to create massive outcomes in their business by getting seen by the right people organically. But here is the thing. When you are wanting to mature your business, when you are wanting to step into that next level where you think, okay, I'm doing organic content, I'm putting it out there, it's creating great results. My Instagram posts, when people see them, this happens. They go and watch my stories, they go into my email list, they go to my website or my sales page, and things are working. I am getting results. In order to scale that, likely what you might have to do is create more content if you wanted to scale that. Yes, you can create better content as well in inverted commas. So like if you can see that there is a type of Instagram post that gets reach when you do this type of hook, you might want to start optimizing that type of hook as well. Remembering we don't want to just have surface level content, and we're going to talk about that as well. We want to make sure that we also have content that creates action. So I'm not saying every single one of your pillars should now be high reach, but what I am saying is that if you think, okay, so in my world, I teach people how to get seen, then loved, then selling on social media. And in seen, we do want higher reach. We are actively creating content that is going to get us higher reach. So you might say to yourself, okay, for my seen pillar, I like to do this engaging thing or this entertaining thing or this activating thing. And I've looked back over my last, 20 of these types of posts, and I can see when I use this image or this type of hook, like a negative or a positive or a pain point or an aspiration or funny or whatever, I get the highest reach. So you can go through and then try and make sure you are optimizing that type of hook in that pillar. So we can work smarter, not harder with our content in that regard as well. But at the end of the day, if you think I want to double, triple, quadruple my sales, I don't want to raise my prices, what do we need to do? We need to get more visibility. And so in order to do that, a lot of people might start thinking, oh, I'm going to need to create more content. I just don't have time for that. And they get stalled. When at the end of the day, the answer is actually to invest in paid advertising to get more people into your world in any type of way. And this may come as no surprise, but one of the things that I love to do best with ads is to make sure I am not paying for my ads and is to make sure I am in fact getting paid to run ads on the Meta platform and that I am getting paid to have those ads come into my world as leads and extra visibility on my content as well. And what the heck do I mean by that? Well, as I said before in our offers, how my recommendation was to work smarter, not harder for a digital transformation is to create a low ticket offer. Well, here's the thing and how this flows on even further. When we create low ticket offers, we scale these with ads. Now, what those ads do is, all going well, pay for themselves. Again, as I said before, someone might be putting $1,000 into ads a week, but getting $3,000, $4,000, $2,000, $1,500 back. What we aim to do is have our ad costs completely covered, to be making profit from those ads passively, and to also be bringing people into our world. So when I run ads for my low ticket products, I make profit back off those ads. So the ad cost is covered. I have profit coming in, and those beautiful people get to experience me in my offer, which is strategically set up to move them forward as well. They come onto my email list a lot of the time, and they are now in my world. So it's like this triple whammy of things that low ticket offers can do. And what also happens is this indirect benefit where people see the ads, many people go and buy, but some people don't go and buy. What they actually do is go look at your Instagram. And if you have great organic content on there, this isn't some hack where if you've got, with so much love, underperforming content, this is going to fix it. This ain't that. If you have an Instagram account, if you have a Facebook that is set up that has magnetic bio and brand, that has strategic pin posts and that has damn good content on there, all of that is going to be amplified by these low ticket ads. So this is really something that is just so huge in terms of working smarter, not harder, is to run ads to scale your actual business sales, but to also amplify the organic content that is there. So when we talk about, or when I say run ads in businesses, this is normally one of the biggest things I consider for people first when we're talking about working smarter, not harder, is can you put a low ticket strategy in place with ads for the sales, for the leads, for the indirect benefit of your other content being seen, those people then being in your world organically and you being able to organically then sell any offer to them. So for example, when I scale my membership, I actually don't often, if really ever, I've done it a handful of times, run ads about my membership. I increase my low ticket offer sales in the period before I launched my membership. So those people have experienced me, they're in my world, and then I've built my email list as well. I'm able to launch to the people that I have gained organically and via those low ticket ads. And that organic launch gets people into the membership. So even, these ads benefit other offers. Of course, you can as well run different types of ads. This is just my favorite. You can simply run traffic ads. You can run lead ads. You can run direct sales ads. You can run engagement ads. There are other ads there. The thing is, though, often you are paying for those ads, hoping for return later, and return can definitely be made. So you might spend $1,000 on lead magnet ads for a launch that is happening in 30, 60, 90 days. And you are hoping that launch goes well and you recover those ad costs and then some. And this does happen every single day where people do this. So this is definitely an option as well. If you have a proven funnel, if you've launched a product so many times and you know that if you have X amount of people on your email list and you do this great launch, X amount of people buy. And so you might be able to think, okay, if I spent X amount of dollars getting X amount of people on my email list and X amount of those people buy, it's still profitable for me. Then those are the ads you want to be running. But we have to stop holding ourselves back out of fear of ads, out of demonization of ads. I hear a lot of people say ads don't work, but with so much love, when I dig into the cases that they're saying, I'm like, that person's ad was not very good, or they were sending them to a not very good landing page, or that offer just wasn't the type of offer that was going to sell to a cold audience. Ads are just sophisticated traffic. And unfortunately, a lot of the time people use this wrong. And this is the analogy that I like to give, and we'll dive into this in a different episode one time. But imagine that there's a person with a billboard shaking a sign on a street saying ice cream in here. And the billboard was nice and clean. The traffic could see it. The traffic pull over. They go into the ice cream store. They love the ice cream in there. They buy. So let's say, however, that the person shaking the sign, it's actually really blurry, or the writing's really tiny, or it's not the right vibe or brand that's actually going to resonate with people wanting ice cream. And so no one stops. Now, the business supplied the person shaking that sign with the sign. Is it the sign holder's fault that the traffic can't read the sign and that they didn't come into the store? No. So in this situation, the person shaking the sign is Meta, right? Or did you put that person on the wrong road? Was there a road with parents taking their child home from school that is going to have more customers there than you shaking a sign on an empty road on the other side? So those are some of the analogies I like to use. The other one is, let's say it's a great sign. The sign shaker is on the right road. You get those people into the store. The sign shaker does, so Meta does. And the ice cream flavors are just really weird, or it's a really dirty looking store inside, or there's no customer service there. And the person goes, oh, no thanks, I'm going to leave. This isn't for me. Is that the sign shaker's fault? No. And again, the sign shaker is Meta. And so there's a lot of times in business where people are blaming the sign shaker when it was the sign, the location the sign was being shook on, or the actual ice cream on offer in the store. And don't get me wrong, maybe the sign shaker just actually had a bad day and didn't do a very good job. And sometimes Meta's algorithm does change, and we do see this. So I'm not like completely on Meta's side here, but I'm just a realist that so often some of these situations are not caused by Meta themselves. So I really want to encourage you, if you are looking at working smarter, not harder, look at how you are generating traffic into your business for proven offers, and start to consider, are there some really smart traffic strategies that you could be using that have you working less, getting more outcomes, traditionally working smarter, not harder? Now, the next one I want to talk about is kind of combined, and I've mentioned this already, but it is about using our data to make every move smarter. And this is without needing to be a tech head. So one of the things that we can be doing is going through the example I gave before. Look at your past content. Look at your past emails. Use ChatGPT to do this. Use ChatGPT to analyze the patterns of what it is seeing in these things. Ask it why you believe that these 3 emails out of these 10 emails did the best. Explain who your ideal audience is, their pain points, desires, aspirations, all of those things, and be like, hey, ChatGPT, why do you think this worked? What's your analytics on this? Use your own human head and heart and intuition as well. Why do you think that these things are working better? Tap into that and start doing more of it. Again, we need to be careful here that we're not just all of a sudden seeing that our engaging posts do the best on social media, so we only do those from now on, and we're not actually getting loved or selling and driving people forward. But what I mean is within the kind of column, pillar, facet category that you had created something. So you created an email to serve, you created an email to sell, you created an opt-in page to get the, most leads, you created a type of Instagram post to get seen, to get loved, to get selling, whatever it might be. Find those kind of categories and start analyzing them compared to each other. Figure out what does the best and start learning from that within that category. This is really about being able to get the absolute most out of every single thing you are doing in your business, and data will help you drive that. And if you don't have data yet, that's okay. Just keep experimenting with different things until you have the data. That is also working smarter, not harder, knowing that you are doing things in order to get data on it. So that's definitely one of the things you want to be doing. Another way that you can be working smarter, not harder, is by using a tool called Hotjar, or there's a few others out there as well, but essentially it is heat map tracking and putting this type of thing on your sales pages. So instead of saying why when people come into my ice cream store, are they not buying? It is literally like having them tell you exactly why they are leaving your store before they do. So to be like, that looks disgusting, it didn't resonate with me, or this looks really nice store, but you didn't have the right flavors and this part kind of put me off, or the prices put me off, or the policy put me off, or whatever it might be. You can see this on Hotjar as you start to see traffic leaving your page in very specific situations. You can also see people scrolling up and down. Maybe they didn't have what they were looking for. You can start to learn to interpret this data. This is something I teach deeply in the Scalable Business School because it is so potent to understanding how to be able to work smarter, not harder. Don't just keep rewriting entire sales pages. Don't just keep sending even more traffic to a page that isn't converting. Again, thinking it's Meta's fault when it's the actual ice cream flavors in the store. Go through and assess your business front to back with data. So in my business, for example, if I'm wanting to make more sales, I will start by looking at what organic posts drove traffic to that. What was the angle? What was the hook? I'm going to do more of that. What ads drove traffic the best? What was the angle? What was the hook? What was the targeting? What was the budget? I'm going to do more of that. I look at my sales page and think, where did I lose traffic? What can I correct in that section to actually create more sales? Then as they come out the other side, did I upsell somebody something in an email sequence? What was the open rates? What were the click-through rates? What can I change in that specific email or subject line to see if this increases this? If you just chip away, this isn't something that happens overnight, but if you just chip away at these things in your business, you can exponentially explode your results over a period of time without doing anything new, without doing anything else in your business. So when you really understand your metrics, magic can happen. And it is certainly one of the biggest ways that we want to work smarter, not harder in our businesses, is through that data. And while I could literally go on about this forever and ever, I am going to share with you just one last category that is absolutely so important. And that is for us personally to stop making business harder than it needs to be. And I say that with so much love, so much empathy, so much understanding, and absolutely no judgment, because I think that this is truly something that 99.99% of beautiful business owners go through. And that is that we can tend to overthink things or not be providing ourselves with things that we need or could benefit from in order to work smarter, not harder. And I myself am constantly checking myself in business to say, am I making this harder than it needs to be? What could make this easier for me internally? So just a few examples of this is letting go of the pressure to go viral, for example. So often we can be making social media so much harder than it needs to be mentally, emotionally, in our nervous system not being regulated because we keep thinking we have to go viral or we have to get big hits. And visibility is important and we want to be optimizing that and trying different things, but we don't need to be stressing about getting this viral content, about getting these big numbers. We need to actually be asking ourselves logically, what are my sales goals? How many people do I need to see me to hit those? And then how can I get people to click through when they do see me so I can hit that sale goal, and really working things out from there. And, speaking of social media, one of the other things can be really knowing when good enough is actually enough. Lately, I've been doing just little things, and I also supply this to the Content Mastery Club as well because I know it's really helped me, but sometimes I will just actually create Instagram posts in my phone notes app. And I will put a nice cover over it because remember, we do need to work smarter, not harder. So I'm not going to make my life harder by creating unengaging content. I do find my audience like visual engagement. That's for my brand personally. So I will go through and put a nice cover on a carousel, but the internals will actually be what I wrote out in my notepad app. And that might be because I just find that there's some other income producing opportunity that I want to be working on that day. But I also know that I want to get content out. So instead of sacrificing one of those things, I'm working smarter, not harder, by generating this in my notes app. So it's really understanding when often good enough is actually great and we don't feel the need to try and perfect everything to the nth degree when there are competing priorities. And one of the biggest things that I really think that we can do to make our own lives easier is to stop trying to figure out everything alone. And I'm not necessarily saying get a coach. I think coaches and mentoring is absolutely amazing. I might be biased because obviously that's what I do, but it's not just about that. Where can we learn from the collective experience? Masterminds, communities, podcasts, Reddits, other groups, swapping information with peers who may be doing the same types of things with you and being like, hey, did this type of ad strategy work for you? No, this is what's working for me. Amazing. Those types of things can exponentially speed up your growth. Some of the ways that I have accelerated my business most is by learning off other people, being a fly on the wall. There's been times where I've been in masterminds and I think I asked the coach maybe 1 or 2 questions during that time. My biggest learnings were from watching other people be coached, asking their own questions, navigating their own situations. And I'm absolutely not saying if you're in any containers, don't answer your coach questions. It was just that I personally didn't have questions coming up during that time. I was really pushing my business forward in different ways. And I was in that container for other reasons of things that I wanted to see role modeled. But just by being there and learning through osmosis, my business just absolutely was pushed forward. So do not underestimate the power of community. People are spending hours and hours and hours of their own time doing things, figuring things out, experiencing things, learning things. And you can learn from that and speed up your time. I'm not saying that you want to cookie cutter and be like, it didn't work for them, so it's not going to work for me. But you can see their considerations, their actions, their behaviors, where they learn, what their outcomes were, what the feedback was that maybe a coach or other people gave to them. And it just speeds things up so much. I just cannot say enough about the power of community, collective experiences, collective learning when we are looking at working smarter, not harder as business owners. We do not need to be reinventing the wheel, and learning this way is one of the ways that we can tap into a wheel that is already in motion. So there you have it. I really hope that this has helped to start looking at ways that you could potentially be working smarter, not harder in your business. Maybe it's validated some of the things you're doing. Maybe it has inspired you as well. But whatever you have taken away from this episode, if there's one thing I want you to walk away from, it is that working smarter, not harder is not just a nice saying. It is a real methodology to be living by in your business if you want a business that has more income, more impact, more freedom, more flexibility and to be lighter lift on you while getting maybe even better results for the people that you are here to serve. That is all from me. As always, if you have any questions, feedback, comments, my DMs are open and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, fired up, and empowered to make serious moves that align with your goals and version of success, both in life and business. If you loved what you heard, head over to www.thisisco.com.au to find all the links and resources mentioned in today's episode. And if you aren't already following the show, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss a future episode when it drops. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, same goal to get you seen, loved, selling, and scaling. See you then.